Hi guys, Drone Geek here. Today I'm just going to show you how I create my own LUTs or my lookup tables for shooting in DLOG on your DJI drones. This particular one is going to be the regular Phantom 4, but it would be the same process for any of the other ones. Once I get my Inspire 2 back from DJI, hopefully by next year, I'll be able to make my LUT files for that. But for now, we're just doing some regular Phantom 4 stuff. But a lookup table or a LUT is pretty much like a preset file that you can apply to your DLOG footage. You can customize it, make it look how you prefer, kind of like your own personal signature on your video. And then you can just easily apply that to all your future videos. They keep the same format or look to them, so they don't all look different. And you can always do little tweaks and things after applying it, but it just gives you a nice base to start from. And by making your own, you can get the exact look and feel that you're going for. And some of the ones online have disappeared, like straight off of DJI. They seem to have gotten rid of them. But it looks like that was because of the last update they did, where they actually changed the DLOG, and they haven't put any LUT files back, at least the last time I checked. But that's okay. You can make your own. You need Premiere Pro here, and then you use Photoshop. You actually use Photoshop to make the LUT file. But we're in Premiere right now. We have some footage open. This is a barn one I did maybe 2 weeks ago. And you can just go anywhere on the timeline. I mean, it doesn't really matter because it's pretty much all going to be the same as long as you kept your settings the same. And then you got this little picture of a camera to export frame. You just click that. You can export as a JPEG. It doesn't really matter. You can name it whatever. Again, doesn't matter. We're going to export that frame just like that. And then you're going to go into Photoshop and File Open. And you're going to open up that still frame that you just exported from Premiere. And then you can see it here. It's real flat, blah looking, looks horrible. But what you do is you go down to the bottom here. There's like this circle. It's like a half white, half black. You're going to click that. And this is where you can start adding like your adjustment layers to the image. I typically start with the hue, saturation, because it's so flat. I like to add some saturation to my colors. Again, that's a personal preference. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I'm just kind of showing you just a general idea here. There's before, there's after, if you can tell. Just one little quick one. And then we're going to go in and where is it? Brightness, contrast. Contrast sometimes I'll bring up a little bit. Not a ton, but like 10. And then we go up to curves. Curves is probably the biggest one. And that gives you your nice like histogram looking thing here. It's going to start out on RGB. Then you can also do just red, green, and blue separate. But RGB, and then as you can see, it kind of just drops off away before the end and drops off way before that end. Typically, kind of bring these in because it's too bright. It looks like hazy, kind of a gray look to it. You bring that in some, and you'll see it starting to darken. And obviously, you don't want to go too far, so when that happens, I go a little past where it drops off. And the same with the brightness. I mean, it all depends on your camera, your drone, and just your personal look. And you can play around with this as much as you want. And then you can actually grab like in the middle and adjust it to kind of bring up the midpoints. It doesn't take a lot. A little bit goes a long ways. I think right there looks pretty good. And then you can go into reds, greens, and blues. The blues, I don't think I'm going to touch for this. The green could probably use a little bit. Go there, and then we're getting pretty red. I'll go up, literally like just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. Doesn't take much. That's it. A little more green in the image. And then see, like in the summertime, you're probably not going to want to do that because this is going to be much more green than it is currently. And the red, if I can grab it here. The red I'm going to bring down just a tiny bit because I think that looks better. There's the before and the after. Yeah, and the blue, I don't think there's any need to do that. Some may like a little bit of a blue in the shadows. Maybe just a hair. Just a pretty simple one. There's other things you can add, and you just pretty much stack them one after the other. And then you can click on the first one, hold it, drag down, let go, and then they all get disabled. And the same thing to turn them on. So you got it before and an after. And then what we're going to do when we got it all set however we want it, we're going to go to File, Export, and it says Color Lookup Tables, which is a LUT. Oh, you can't see this box. Let's bring it in. And here we go. We got, by default, if I remember correctly, I think all of these were checked, but for Premiere Pro, it only uses the cube file. So we're going to leave cube checked. And you got grid points. I just go on high. I don't really know if there's any reason to go higher than that. High seems to work just fine. And you can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to name it Test P4. Actually, that's the description. Then we're going to get the name dialog. Test P4. And as you can see, that's done already. On some computers, it may take a little bit longer. We got a dual Xeon machine here, so things are pretty snappy. Okay, then what we're going to do, bring this over here. We got that testp4.cube file that I just created. That's our lookup table. And to copy or cut, whatever you want to do, and then you're going to go into most likely your C drive. Then it would be program files, and it's going to be Adobe, and then whatever version of Premiere Pro you're using. So yeah, I had 15, now we're on 17. We're just going to use the later one. And then let's see, where is it? It's in Lumetri. And then it's going to be in LUTs for lookup tables. And then I put them in technical. You can also do creative here. I can show you the difference here. Go back to Premiere. Most likely you're probably going to be in your editing tab up on top, but you got to go to your color tab, which I already was. And then you might see the scopes highlighted by default, but you go to the Lumetri color. And here, bring this back. The technical folder is going to be what shows up under basic color correction, which shows up here on the top. And there's also the creative folder, which is going to show up under this one. I prefer it just to be up on the top part, so it's there under the first one. It's another personal preference, or if you want to put it. I don't know why they say basic, and then the folder's technical, and this one's creative, and the folder's creative. If you think this one would be called basic then, so it can be kind of confusing. But I'll put it in technical. There we go, our testp4.cube file. We can close that. And then I was thinking we're most likely have to close. Yeah, close Premiere because it has to open with the file in there. So we reopen. You can't see the loading screen, it's on the center screen. Okay, we're all good here. Go back into the color. And then you're going to click on a piece of footage from your timeline that you want. And base the input LUT, you should see it there. There we go, test P4 that I named it. Apply that, and boom. Again, this one. There's another one. But that pretty much gives you the idea. And then you can actually go through and exposure, contrast, all this good stuff, and you can still further tweak it. But it just gives you a nice start, or a base to start from on all your footage. And you make it exactly how you want it, which is the best part. Just like that. I do have this Mavic DLOG one I downloaded. That one's a little too extreme. See there, we got more of a green. There's a little darker. Yeah, whatever you want to do. But that's pretty simple. There isn't much to it. You just add your adjustment layers, do all your tweaks, file, export, color lookup tables. Make sure you're doing a cube file, and I do 64, and I've never really experimented with it. And then you're going to move it into the C, program files, Adobe, Premiere Pro, Lumetri, LUTs, and then either creative or technical, again, based on if you want it to show up under this creative drop down or the top one. And then once it's in there, you can apply it to your footage. So hopefully this was somewhat helpful for you guys if you were interested in lookup tables. And thanks for watching.